Step 2. We came to believe that a power higher than ourselves could restore us to sanity. Before the invention of the GPS, mariners had to find something to navigate by. If they were close to the coast, if they stayed in known waters, they could use recognizable landmarks. But if they ventured out into the open ocean or into unknown waters, those recognizable landmarks were not available. Seeking to find a way, they observed an important truth. Because of the Earth's spin, stars appeared to travel across the night sky in a circular arcs. But the North Star remained fixed. So for well over 2,000 years, travelers have made their way by the North Star. The North Star kept them on track through all the long and lonely nights. The North Star was so reliable that even the space shuttle and even the International Space Station use it to align their navigational systems. And for many, the North Star became a beacon that led them to freedom. When slaves were stolen from their homes in Africa and brought to America, they recognized that same North Star in the night sky here. And if they were able to make their way to the Underground Railroad on their trek towards freedom, that North Star would be their guide on that journey. To find our way in this life through all the long and lonely nights, we too need a North Star. We need to orient our lives by a higher power than ourselves. A power that is even bigger and stronger than all the other things in our lives that seem to have so much calling power over our decisions, over our minds and our hearts and our bodies. Today's wisdom from both the Old Testament and the New puts it this way: you shall love the Lord your God with all your heart and all your mind and all your body. They named that North Star. And they tell us that we can only have one. Only one North Star. One. Otherwise, like a ship at sea, trying to follow more than one star at a time, we get lost, and we're ended up pulled here and there until we go over the proverbial edge. I learned the importance of a North Star, a higher power along which I could align my life, way back in grade school, even in 4th grade. I had an amazing pastor at the time. He would come into our classroom every week, one day a week. And he would come in and we would look so forward to it because he would shake us up. He would ask us these big questions that would stretch the mind of a 4th grader, much less a 60-year-old. Big questions like, you know, there's a commandment that says, honor your father and your mother. So you have to obey your parents, right? And it's a sin to not obey your parents, right? And we'd say, yes, Father, for sure, Father, absolutely, Father. But then he said, But what if your mom or dad asks you to do something that's wrong? Then what do you do? And his answer: you should not do what your mom or dad asks. You do what God asks. Now, to a fourth grader, that was something else to hear. Shocking to our young ears. There's a higher power, even higher than a fourth grader's mom and dad. Similarly, if a boyfriend or a girlfriend or even a spouse, a partner in life in any sense of the word, says to you, you need to do this or I will pull my love back from you. I won't love you. I won't stay. There is a higher power. There's a higher power than even that person, that woman or man who means the world to me, who fires the chemicals in my brain like no other, who I feel like I need and couldn't live without. There's a higher power in my life than him or her. Yes, that old pastor would say. There's a higher power than him or her. Above the emotions of all of that, that will help you stay true and is the only thing that will help you stay free. Our true north. There's a higher power even than this person I'm so in love with. We simply have to have something or someone wiser, more clear-sighted than the chemical reactions in our own brains. How else could someone be faithful over the course of 40 or 50 or 60 years of marriage when the infatuation is long gone and the chemicals have simmered and dimmed? We need a North Star that will work against the instincts to survive. The same thing that lights up in our brain, the instinct to survive when our lives are threatened. For what other reason would there be that someone would actually die, give up that instinct to survive, transcend it even, to be willing to die for something or for someone? There simply has to be something to transcend the swirl of emotions, the temptations, and the trials of this moment in time. The first step in AA, the first step. We admit we are powerless over our addiction, that our lives have become unmanageable. In other words, we need a North Star. Step 2. We came to believe that a power higher than ourselves could restore us to sanity. There is a North Star. But then AA tells us that if we want to be healed, if we want to be restored, if we want to be free, there's a third step. Step 3. Make a decision to turn our will and our lives over to the care of God as we understand God. To let ourselves be led by this North Star, this higher power, to surrender. I need one, I have one, and I have to surrender my life to this one. This is the path to freedom. I absolutely know in my bones I need God. God is. And I can surrender my life and trust to this God. Those in recovery from addictions know that recovery is impossible without a higher power. Do we? Or are we still trying to do it by ourselves, for ourselves? Quite honestly, I would suggest to you tonight that without a higher power, we are like bottle rockets without a stick, shooting everywhere with nothing to guide us anywhere. We need a North Star that has more calling power beyond the lure of the immediate gratifications that I've gotten so used to, towards a deeper freedom and a greater good. We need a North Star to lead us out of the nihilism, the nothingness, and its consequent despair that marks too many lives. This higher power, the Lord our God, this North Star, guides our everyday living. It gives meaning to our lives. It sustains us when the storms hit, like Hurricane Sandy hitting New Jersey and New York City, or when our own personal life storms visit the shores of our own homes and the shores of our own relationships. Most of all, at some level at least, I have to surrender my life to that one God. Circumstances change over the years. I have to be able to do it, and I have to be able to do it again and again all the time. Tonight, perhaps the moment of Holy Communion can be just that moment for us. When with that amen, amen, what we're saying is yes, there is a higher power I can trust my life to, and yes, I surrender my life in the current circumstances, whether I'm in love, whether I'm as happy as I could be, or whether my heart is broken and everything is falling apart. The surrender is now, yes. We sang of that surrender, I think you might have noticed, in the responsorial psalm tonight. When we sang, "Here I am, Lord, here I am. I come to do your will." If we already have, we still need to reorient our lives to our North Star. Through praying, through right thinking, with the support of other believers. We need to again and again reorient our lives to our North Star. Our Jewish scriptures got that. Our Jewish Jesus got that when he said, "Love the Lord your God with all your mind, with all your heart, with all your body. And the ancient mariners, they got it too. On those long and lonely nights, and even when they were happiest. You and I, we need a North Star.